I didn't realize how many individuals knew that I was away from the community for a little while. I took some time off. I had shared it with resident council, I shared it with Bill and a couple other people, but since I've been back, everybody's like, welcome back, welcome back. And I'm like, okay. So I was just going to add that yes, I had a thank you for asking if I had some good time off, a nice vacation. I did. I did not come in. I did not go anywhere. I did not really travel anywhere except for Naples and Hammond Stadium in Fort Myers. Does anybody know what Hammond Stadium is?
Baseball?
So it's baseball. It's the Minnesota Twins home base during the winter for spring training. And there's actually a minor league team that plays there. We should do this as like a trivia question. I'm trying to remember the name of this team. However, there's a minor league team that plays there. And the reason that I do this, I actually started this last year, is my father, who's from up north, who spends most of his time in Canada, has started to travel down here in the springtime to get away from the winter. He's a huge baseball fan, just an absolute fanatic for baseball. I ask him all the time, how long is the Major League Baseball season? And he says, well, it's only 162 games. And I'm like, 162 games? Aren't you fed up after, like, I don't know, like 50, like 40, 50, 60? He goes, no, 162. So the short version to a long story is we go to a few spring training games at the Twins Stadium, which is a lot of fun. And this year we were lucky enough that his favorite team, who you can probably imagine who his favorite team is, it's the only Canadian team left in Major League Baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays. They were at Hammond Stadium while my father was here. So we were able to watch the Blue Jays play the Twins. And the best part of the whole thing is the Minnesota Twins have become our second favorite team because the Toronto Blue Jays are our first favorite team. So our first favorite team won the first game, and then the other games we went to, the Twins won all those games. So we won every game. We kind of felt like it was we were like 3-0 or 4-0 for all the games. So thank you to those who've been asking. It's nice to spend time with family. As I'm sure many of you understand that, it's nice to see your family, so I had that opportunity to do that. And all the while, my wife was working. Isn't that perfect? Great vacation. Somebody said to me, like, your wife? I said, no, she was working. She was busy. She had no time to take any time.
You realize that statement was just recorded.
Yes.
Whatever. She knows. I don't think she wanted to come to any of the baseball games anyways, so I don't think that was a big sitting in the heat, having a couple beers and a hot dog, I don't think that was her big thing. So I tried as much as I could to put together a presentation. It might be a little more brief. The resident council did meet last week on Tuesday. Bill graciously sent me some of the notes from that meeting, so I've tried to integrate some of those notes into the presentation. If there is some things missing, please, when we do the question and answer period, feel free to put up your hand and we'll do our best to navigate through it. So thank you for being here. Thank you to the residents that are at home in attendance. All right, let's go. Let's kick it off. So resident council discussion is our first thing. We are going to talk about the elevator refurbishment. I think elevator might be the word at Aston Gardens in 2024. Is that a fair comment? Popular term. Oh my God, lots of moving parts. We're going to talk about the elevator modernization. I really want, because I think there's some confusion potentially on refurbishment and modernization. So I'm going to try to hammer this home so everybody's kind of on the same page with this.
Got it.
I'm going to talk about some department updates and then we'll do our Q&A session at the end, okay? All right, so this is happening. I know that there's a conversation that keeps coming. We talked about this last month. We are gonna be trimming the remaining hardwood trees, not the ones that were trimmed last year, but the remaining ones are gonna happen first. This is gonna be completed by early May. So they're gonna start in April, and by probably the first week of May, they're telling us they're gonna have completed all the hardwoods. So I appreciate all the feedback as to, oh, there's some branches here and there. Let us complete this first, and then if there are some still outstanding issues, we can circle back with those outstanding issues. But this is on the schedule to happen throughout the month of April. Once we finish the hardwoods, we're gonna do all the palm trees on campus. And I know there's been some conversation about palm trees. I'm looking at Pepe, I was looking for Gina. Where did Gina go?
She had to leave.
She vanished. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're also gonna tackle some of the behind the villa homes. There's a lot of overgrown things. There's lots of palm fronds, and we're gonna tackle all of that. So we're gonna do all of the palm trees starting in May. And our goal is to try to complete everything, I would say, no later than probably mid-June. So when we get into the start of storm season or hurricane season, we should have completed all the trees. Once again, we've talked about this, the trimming of the trees is for safety and the health of the tree. And there are some landscape replacement projects. We've been doing some sodding right now. I need to get with the landscaper since I'm back to figure out some dates that we're gonna do some other landscaping improvement work around the campus. This was brought up, our friendly rodents, chewing car wires. That's happened. So we did, working with the council and working with our team, working with our pest control company, we have been able to position some traps strategically. It seems to be helping. I haven't gotten any reports relative to any further incidents, but we're gonna continue to monitor this. We do know through our pest control company that once we put the plan in place, we have seen results. Okay, so we feel like we're getting a better handle on the rodents that have been, in some cases, jumping into some of the vehicles. Not in the vehicles, but under the vehicles. And before that, there was, I think through the resident council, there was some discussion about in one of the residential buildings, there were some issues with pests. We have addressed that with our pest control company, and we have a plan in place, and we're seeing some good results there on getting rid of those pests, okay? So that's also in the works. This has not happened yet. I know I've been promising this yet. We're gonna get to it. We're just gonna try to get through some of the final projects we're doing right now, and I'm gonna put some pressure on our maintenance team to get these benches done, because we have new benches in front of every residential building, and to replace the benches that are on the inside of the campus. They need to be installed and they need to be secured, so that is coming. Okay? There was some conversation, and I'm kind of going by the notes that Bill gave me, but there was some conversation about security cameras on campus. For everybody's knowledge, there are security cameras located in the front entrances. Well, there's one security camera located in the front entrance of each residential building, and there's a security camera located at the entrance to the community, at each entrance to the community. Those security cameras function, but they are not monitored. So there's an important understanding here. When people talk about security cameras, they think about, oh, well, there's somebody, looking at the footage or throughout the day or every other day. They're not monitored. We refer to those cameras as needed. So we don't have the resources or the staffing for somebody even every day or every other day or once a week to go through all the footage. We have referenced some footage in the past when we've had incidents happen that we need to investigate. Okay, so that's really how that system works. Jim and I are working on some proposals to potentially adding some cameras and updating the cameras. So those cameras have been there. They were there when I got here, so they're many years old. Many of you probably know that technology with security cameras now is a lot better. The imaging is better, and I'm gonna call it the usability is better. It's just, you can do it with apps now. You can do wireless installations. You don't need to be running wires everywhere. So we're actually working on a proposal that we're gonna put in for 2025. So I don't wanna say to anybody that we're gonna have something in place in 2024. This is gonna be more of a proposal that we'll put forward for next year. Okay, so upgrading what we have and maybe potentially adding some specific locations strategically. What we will not have, and I don't wanna lead anybody to think that we're gonna have a security person who's gonna be monitoring the footage. It'll really be a recording that we'll be able to consult as needed. All right. Elevator refurbishment. Okay, so refurbishment is what is happening right now, right? So the inside of the cabin, of each cabin, is being redone to be upgraded. So the walls, the ceiling, the lighting, all that stuff. This, and I apologize for some of the, I think we've done a good job at communicating. The challenge has been the communication that we got from our vendor is not really what's happening in the field. So the work has proceeded much quicker than we were led to believe. Last week we put in the weekly update that it would take approximately 48 hours to do the refurbishment of the CAD. Well, it literally took about 24 hours. So building 2 were here yesterday. They completed the work by probably about noon or 1 o'clock today. 1 o'clock, thank you.
And it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful, okay, good. And it's back working. So the good news is it took 24 hours and not 48 hours because we were initially thinking that it would be a 48-hour window when the cab would not be operating. Please come in, grab a chair, feel free. The bad news is we communicated to residents that this would happen and we scheduled out the other buildings, right? So today at 1 o'clock when building 2 opened up and everybody goes, yay, the elevator's back. Any residents from building 4? So building 4, we had to issue a notice to the 2nd and 3rd floors today, which we did around 10 o'clock. I talked about it on the weekly update. We closed down the elevator in building 4 to make sure that we could continue the work. Okay, so in theory, if there's no hiccups, by tomorrow afternoon, building 4's elevator should be, so building 2 is operational today, it should be working by tomorrow afternoon, we believe, right? But once again, there were no hiccups with building 2, everything went well. Hopefully building 4 will be the same thing. If there is a little hiccup, we'll let you know. We'll keep you posted. The piece that Jim and I have been working on today is trying to find out, okay, does that mean you're gonna go to another building, right? They will not. Okay, they're gonna stop there. So if they finish end of day tomorrow, they will be back next week. So the schedule will not be condensed to this week. They'll come back on Monday and they'll start with building 5 elevator on Monday. Once again, now that we know it takes about 24 hours to do it, we're gonna plan out for that 24-hour window. If there's a little hiccup, it might go a little bit longer. We will issue any emergency notices to the doors if we have to make sure that you're updated. And then 6 and 7 will continue. So in a perfect world, if I was to map this out, everything works. Monday they're here, they do 5, they complete by midday on Tuesday, they move to 6, they complete by maybe Wednesday afternoon, and then they're into 7 and they're maybe done by Thursday, Friday. Okay, so by the end of next week, all of the cabs are refurbished. Okay, so good news quicker, just the bad news. Sorry for some of the mix-up in the communication.
So
Oh no, come on in, Sonny. Here, let me grab the door. Sorry. Come on in. There's lots of room. Grab a chair. All right. Here we go. So that's the elevator refurbishment portion. One of the pieces I just want to remind everybody of is there's a ceiling panel that is actually collapsible, removable. So we're gonna be coordinating with movers now so that they don't bang the ceiling panel all the time. That can be displaced for a move. So if somebody's moving in or moving out of the building, we can move that, so we can protect it and keep it nicer. And then throughout this process, if there's any deliveries that need to be done for food, if any of that stuff is necessary, we're waiving any of those charges for residents that are impacted. And we will also, if you do get into a bit of a pickle and you need help, you can contact the front desk and we'll send one or two of our team members to help, right? To help residents if they have to navigate the stairs or something, we'll help you up and down. All right. The bigger conversation I think that's been happening, and also probably at the resident council level last week, is relative to the modernization. The modernization is really I'm gonna call it the new elevator, right? These are original elevators that have received new parts throughout the years, but there's never been a major modernization or overhaul. That is a project that's slated to happen here. It's actually happening throughout all of the Ashton Gardens communities. I do not have any specific dates yet. So I know residents are like, well, when's it gonna happen? I'm sorry, I don't have any dates. I wanted to get the information to the council and to you so that at least you're aware that this is gonna happen, okay? This is coming. So as soon as I have dates, we'll be able to communicate those dates to everybody. It's a complete modernization of the mechanics. So it's a complete overhaul. So you could say it's almost like a brand new elevator once it's said and done. And the technology has changed. What's been explained to me is it's significantly different today than when the elevators were put in. There's the kicker. So the duration of that work, what we're being told right now, is 3 to 4 weeks. Could it be less? Maybe. It could be. But even if it's 2 weeks, it's still 2 weeks, right? So it's a significant period of time. I'm being told that it's probably not longer than that. I believe, like most projects like this, that the contractors are gonna put a little bit of, extension in there to cover, right? So they're saying 3 to 4 weeks when probably if it's done perfectly 2.5 weeks, they can probably be in and out. But for now, we're talking about a 3 to 4 week window. So I've had conversations with residents, we've talked about this, and I'm gonna continue to do that. If you're unable to navigate the stairs, you may wanna consider an alternative arrangement. Unless the resident is willing to say, okay, well, I'm gonna kinda stay home and stay in the building or stay on my floor for that period of time, fine. But, coming in and out, you're gonna need to navigate the stairs. We're not gonna have a system, we talked about this last month, we're not gonna have a system in place, a temporary lift, or somebody mentioned something about something outside the building, or I think somebody said a rope that you'll throw.
Rope ladder.
So I started having these conversations with residents, and I think what the resident council is also doing, if I understand correctly, Bill, is the resident representatives are kind of looking at their buildings too, and I know at least one representative has spoken to me this week about, in their building, some people in their building that we're speaking with. Okay, so we appreciate that help. We've already started, Christy and I have started to create a list of individuals that we think might be, are gonna be impacted by this for sure. You may wanna consider, those people may wanna consider family and friends that are close by, to say, hey, can I stay with you for a little period of that time, right? Just to navigate it. You might wanna consider a friend in the community. And I know this is another idea, maybe you have a friend who's on the ground floor, or a friend who's in another building, right? Because the way this is gonna work is we're not gonna do multiple elevators at once. So we're gonna go from building to building to building. So at any one moment in time, there'll be one building that's impacted by the elevator. So it's just something to consider and something to look at. And then we're gonna continue to provide regular updates. We'll also have some additional service relative to helping residents up and down, navigating stairs and that type of thing. We'll have a system in place where we can do that. We'll be doing any of the deliveries, any of that things that we need to do. And obviously for the period of time that those residents are impacted, any charges relative to any of those deliveries will all be waived. That is really information I have right now. Okay, so I want to be as much as possible transparent with all of you as we move forward. As soon as I get new information, you will be the first ones to know about it. So hold the question. Well, actually, you know what? I'll take elevator questions for now. I think this is probably a good place to just hit a little bit of a pause button. So any of the elevator questions I'll take now. Go ahead, Sonny.
My mother and dad, this is not a new thing. It was a year in advance. They knew they were gonna change the elevators. So everybody signed up and they put them in a motel. And they told, you'll be in the motel for 3 weeks. And that's what they did.
Mhm.
And it worked out fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about a long time ago. I mean, I'm 90.
So great idea. This is the information I have right now. So, got it?
Okay.
I've already communicated some of my thoughts to the ownership group, but I don't have a response to that. But thank you for the idea. But yes, I hear you, Carolyn.
I plan to stay,
Mhm.
and I will be navigating the stairs.
Yep.
Mobile, but I do have some back issues and left arm issues, so that I can get up and down the stairs. But I really, really hope you will reconsider putting in the electric door openers on the second and third floors. Because by the time I get up the stairs and have to pull on that door, I may injure my back.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yep, I'll bring that forward. Yeah, it's a great idea. Nancy?
I was wondering who some of the helpers were, because I spoke to one tram driver, and he said, yes, you're gonna be helping. I spoke to another, he said, not me. No, Olivia and me, I don't want that liability, I want nothing to do with it.
There'll be a series of team members. It'll be part of our security team and part of our maintenance team. And maybe me on occasion too, right? It might be part of our directors and, yeah, it'll be an all hands on deck. Yep.
For those that stay on the second and third floor, you're gonna have to also have someone take care of their US mail and packages that you deliver to the first floor lobby.
Mhm. Yep, absolutely. All deliveries, all of that stuff is gonna need to be coordinated. Agreed. Alice?
Mark, you have one guest suite, don't you?
We actually have 3.
3?
Mhm.
Could they use them if they had to?
It's a possibility, but it's only 3.
I know, but.
Understood, but yes, we can.
She said, we didn't hear what she said.
Do we have guest suites?
Okay.
We do. We have 3.
Okay.
2 of them are on the ground floor, 1 of them's on the 3rd floor. But yes, that is a possibility. Linda, you had a question?
Yeah, our elevator, the certificate of occupancy is over July 31st.
August 1st is the date. Yep, there'll be new ones in there.
New certificates?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That answered my second question.
Yeah, it's coming.
Well, I have an add-on question. If the elevators are not fully, completed, then how can you get the county to approve, or whoever has to approve it, to give us another elevator approval after July 31st? Doesn't that put pressure on getting the work done?
Those certificates that Linda's talking about are not dependent on the modernization. Those are annual certifications that the elevator company that we work with, our vendor, goes through the elevator and certifies, yeah, everything's good with the elevator, and they put a new certificate in the elevator. Or they actually give us we put the certificate in, but it's not related to the modernization.
Okay.
The modernization is something separate. It's not contingent, right? The The giving of the certificate is not contingent with the modernization.
Well, that begs the question. We've had a lot of problems in building two.
Mhm.
And it's almost like Russian roulette when you get on the elevator as to whether or not it's gonna work. So I don't see how our elevator could be given a new certificate until total mechanical problem is addressed. Am I wrong?
Well, I think it's two things. I think you're talking about two things that you're trying to connect.
Okay,
So today, the elevator in building 2 is working.
correct. Yeah.
The mechanics are working, everything's functioning. There could be a break. That doesn't mean that you're not gonna get a certificate for it. It means that you need to address the breakage in the elevator. The modernization is related to any changes that have happened through I guess, I don't know if it's the state or whoever regulates that, but any changes that have happened, and then just upgrading some of the mechanics of the elevator because it is 20 plus years old. So we're certified to run those elevators, and all the elevators are operational. It doesn't mean that they're not gonna break, right? And then obviously, it makes sense that with 20-plus-year-old elevators, there's probably gonna be a few more issues, right? Which we've seen. Primarily, your building has been one. We finally figured out what some of those issues were, why it was always failing. So we've replaced those parts. Building 5 is another one that we had the same type of issues. And if I had to throw a third one in the mix, it would probably be building 6 was the third one. So, but there's still, those certificates will still be managed through our vendor, who have to follow the guidelines to get that certification. That's not gonna stop. And even with the new elevators, they'll have to issue certificates also for it. So that's gonna continue. All right, any other elevator questions? Okay, sorry, Carol, go ahead.
I can get up and down the stairs, I think. But is there any way we can leave our walker down there? So we have to go through there to the main building? We have assistance?
Yes, yes, and then our staff is gonna help also with transporting walkers, right? So they'll help you navigate the stairs, and then they'll bring, if your walker was with you, let's say you're on the second floor and your walker was with you, you go navigate the stairs with the team member, they'll bring the walker to you on the ground floor.
But we can't leave it on the ground floor.
Well, you could, it's gonna be, do you need it to get from your apartment also to the stair? If not, then that's fine, yes. We'll set up locations where we can keep them. At a certain point, we may need to limit how many, because we can't block any of the exits and any of that stuff, but there's certainly some locations where we could do that. Okay, so more to come. As I said, as soon as I get new information, everybody's gonna be the first to know. Okay. So we wanted to just do you guys wanna come up front? So on the dining side, I just wanted to introduce, I think we did through the weekly update. I think Christy and Jen, last week we put Nixon's arrival in there. No, I think we did. Yeah, maybe you guys didn't read it.
Yes.
Thank you, Alita.
You're welcome.
There we go. So we've been searching for a new individual to help complement Lee and his work. Nixon is our new sous chef here at the community, so I just wanted to welcome Nixon. Awesome stuff. We're excited. He's very soft-spoken, right? So it's not gonna be like me rambling on about stuff. He's a man of few words, but awesome. We're excited to have him. How long have you been with us now? For a couple weeks?
Couple weeks.
2 weeks right now. So he's still kind of settling in, but we're super excited, and I think it's gonna be a really good addition to our team. We've talked about consistency, right? Trying to create some of that consistency. We've had, looking at Alita because she's on the culinary committee, but trying to work through that, and I think Nixon is gonna help us bring a little more consistency to our team. So welcome to the team. Awesome. All right, good stuff.
So nice.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, appreciate it. All right. And Jen, you did put in the update,
I put
his
the
arrival.
introducing them at the chef dinner.
Oh, sorry, too late now.
Yeah.
I didn't say a word.
I didn't say a word. Just some updates relative to activities and programming. Cornhole is changing days to Thursdays. Did I have that right? Correct me if I kind of did this a little bit quick. It's changing days to Thursdays. When?
Starting next week. there'll be
Next
a
week.
Tournament to honor that.
On the tournament? April 4th. Okay, so there's gonna be a tournament. Get your teams together. Partners are gonna be drawn randomly on the day of the event, okay? So you can't stack any teams. I know that David's smiling at the back there, trying to stack a team. Doesn't work that way. Discovery at Home is gonna be sponsoring the event with some snacks and beverages, so that's very nice. Thank you to Discovery at Home. And we need some players to sign up. Is there a sign-up sheet?
Yeah, that's about
All right, okay, so sign up. How many cornhole players here? 1, 2, 3, 4, all right. Come on, we need more. Jerry, I didn't see your hand go up. Me too. Christie put her hand up.
What's the time?
What time? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. I'm gonna talk a little bit about this. I have a slide. So we're organizing, and I'll get into the details of it, but on April 5th, Friday, we're organizing a casino night. So it's gonna be from 5:30 to 8:30. I have another slide where we'll talk a little bit more about the details. FGCU Academy is gonna be here on April 8th and the 22nd. Okay, so as we usually have them twice a month. The first presentation is gonna be on Diana, the death of a princess. That one's gonna be really interesting. Lots of stuff going on with the family, the royal family right now. Holy smokes. Whew, that's a busy place. And then the second presentation on the 22nd will be the Kennedy-Nixon campaign. Wow, that'll spawn some conversation. All right. On April 19th, there'll be books that influence the world. That'll be like a talk discussion, I think, group. That'll be kind of cool on the 19th. On the 23rd, there'll be a presentation. I like this actually, this title, Shower Safety for Seniors, right? That's a good one. That's a real good one. So on the 23rd. And then we're gonna close out the month of April with a fashion show on the 26th. I know all the gentlemen are excited, right? I guess hosted by Patchington's Clothing and Pop-Up Shop, okay? All right, awesome, on the 26th. All right, I'm gonna try to clarify some other stuff. So I shared, it was last month or the month before, that we were considering making some changes to our system for medical transportation, and it was more related to the reserving of the transportation. We've put this on hold for now. We're not making any changes, so I wanna kill all the rumor mill and all the gossip out there. I had some people come and see me and say, so no more medical appointments, we can't travel anymore, we're gonna have to go only 3 days a week in the afternoon. So no. We're gonna continue the same system. I'm actually gonna talk about it in a few slides. But we would like to make sure that you're providing accurate information, because we have seen a lot of errors, right? I admit sometimes our team maybe, didn't take it down, but there's also some information that we're getting from residents that's not accurate, okay? So please double check your information, make sure you have the right day and time, make sure you have the right address. We're noticing some incorrect addresses. And then confirming your date with your provider. Okay, so making sure that you didn't mix up, because we've had situations where, oh no, it's not this month, it's next month. And the driver brings the resident to there, and they're at the door, and then the provider says, no, sorry, it's next month, right? So just some of that stuff I think we need to try to shore up. But we're not making any changes to the system or how we take reservations at this point in time. And then I am gonna talk a little bit more about this. Christy put this together a while ago. I thought it'd be good to go over it again. To reserve your medical transportation in advance, the earliest time, so we do this Monday through Friday. The earliest time is 8 a.m. and the last time is approximately 1:30 p.m. Okay, for appointments. The drivers are gonna, no, you're shaking your head.
Their earliest appointment, cause the first car leaves at 8.
Right, the earliest appointment time.
The earliest appointment
Oh,
time
sorry.
for their doctor needs to be 8:30.
Sorry, 8:30. So my bad. So the earliest appointment time is 8:30, and is the latest appointment time 1:30?
For the doctor's appointment, yes.
Okay.
All cars have to be back on property by 3.
Approximately by 3. It doesn't mean that there's not exceptions to it. We try to be flexible. Our team tries to be flexible to help with residents, but kind of big picture, that's what we'd like to stick to. Accurate address, and then let us know the type of medical appointment. So we've had residents that have booked an appointment, and then we say, well, what type of provider is it? Is it dental? Is it vision? Is it your primary care doctor? And sometimes residents are like, ugh, not sure which one this is. So try to double check that before you finalize what your appointment is.
And the other thing you can do too is give us your doctor's name, because if you're not sure of the address, we can Google it if we have the doctor's accurate name.
All right. Then you must stay at that address for the pickup. So we've had situations where residents are like, we drop you off at 954 West Avenue, wherever, and then we go back to 954, and you're like, oh no, I went to the bar next door. No, I'm just teasing. But please make sure that you stay at that address. You can make the reservation as long in advance as you'd like. They must be on a weekday, and then the drop-off and the pickup have to happen in the same place. We have started to do this. If you do fail to cancel the appointment, there is going to be a $25 charge, okay, for the inconvenience. All right? Okay. I talked about this morning. I went against my protocol. I normally do the bad stuff at the beginning and keep the good stuff to the end. So I don't know what happened here. I must have hit my head. There will be an increase to the second person fee and potentially some of the ancillary fees. I'm going to get into that. The second person fee is going to be going up $100. So it's
Whoa, it says 1,000.
it's going to go up $100 from $900 to $1,000. Okay?
I got my letter today.
Okay?
Your letter is wrong.
Be patient. Any of the other changes that we're gonna make, we'll be publishing in the weekly update this Friday. So maybe some guest meal changes. I'm pretty sure the tavern, we changed the tavern pricing last year. That's not gonna change, but there could be some other changes that happen. We'll publish those to you this coming Friday. Those that the second person fee impacted should have a letter in your boxes. It should have landed, I think I heard somebody say I got it today. It is gonna be, so I put the tavern charges are gonna remain the same, and then the effective date for the changes is June 1st. So it goes into effect as of June 1st. Okay? All right. This is what I was talking about before. We always try to be a good citizen in the community, try to collaborate with some charitable organizations, try to support different organizations in the community. On April 5th, we're going to be collaborating with Naples Interagency. They're a not-for-profit charitable organization that really does some good things. They help subsidize medical students that want to work in our industry, in the senior living world. They raise funds and they help them through schools in Collier County. Okay, it's specific to I believe they do some Lee County and Collier County. So it's a good organization. They're helping us put on a casino night on Friday, April 5th. The money raised will help help raise money for senior living. A lot of those people are going to work in the senior living industry, whether it's a caregiver, a CNA, a nurse, any any of those individuals, it'll help them. The event's gonna start at 5:30 p.m. on Friday, April 5th. And the ticket price, so if you go on their website right now, the ticket price is $35. For our residents, it's $25. So you can do one of two things, and I think Jennifer, you put something in the weekly update last week. You can scan, there's like a barcode there that you can scan, or they can come directly to you, right? And you can coordinate the registration. So if you'd like to participate, you're gonna need a ticket. It will cost $25 for that ticket. It includes any of the food that is happening and all the casino activities. And it's a full-blown casino. It's a pretty cool event. There'll be live music, there'll be lots of activities going on. There's door prizes, there's all sorts of different events.
Do you win money?
Well, you can win door prizes. So the money you win, you'll basically be able to go buy prizes with it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they don't have a license. We didn't get the gambling license. So a fun event. We are, with Lee, we're gonna have some modified food service on that day. I will share with you that we'll be using the entire clubhouse for this event, and it's gonna take some preparation. So the preparation is gonna start kind of middle of the day. So we'll have our regular in the morning breakfast service, but it's gonna be, anybody who wants food after that, it's gonna be something that you take to your apartment, okay? If you come to the event, believe me, you'll eat enough. You probably stop at a certain point. Yes?
I went a few years ago, more than a few years ago, they had an event like this here, it was fabulous.
Mhm.
Fabulous.
We
I
did,
learned how to play blackjack.
yeah. We've done a couple events here at the community similar to this. We haven't done it in a few years, and we thought it'd be a good way to, kind of also show the community, but to help a good cause. Okay? All right, so who's got the mic? Who wants to run it?
I got it.
Thank you. Okay. So we're gonna start with Mr. Gottlieb. He had his hand up first, I think, or at least I saw it first.
In relation to the increase for the second person.
Yep.
We are here less than a year and a half, and my recollection is that the price was raised once already since we're here.
Yep,
So that's
it was
like-
raised last year.
So that's like a substantial increase in a 1-year period, 25%,
Fair enough.
okay?
Yep, I hear you. So moving forward, Mr. Gottlieb, June 1st is gonna be the date. If there is any adjustments, it'll happen on June 1st. Mr. Barrett,
Welcome back.
thank you.
These sessions are kind of like Christmas. I look forward to seeing each line as it's shown on the screen. See what my.
I'm not sure I believe you with your Christmas analogy.
So you've got quite a laundry list of stuff you're doing. Is it possible for us to know what's going to be happening we know everything's gonna happen this year now. What's gonna happen next year? What do you got on your laundry list?
I'm like Santa Claus.
I don't have to wait for a meeting.
Actually, that's a really good question, and I probably should, and I will. So you have my word that I'm gonna start to implement it, maybe a few more. I'm always a little bit hesitant to do that because it always goes through an approval process, right? So myself and our team here, we have ideas and things that we wanna do and different projects that we wanna do, and some of them might be a bit of a wish list, right? But so I never really know what's completely gonna be approved until I get the final approval through the senior leadership of Discovery and the ownership. So I'm always a little bit hesitant of sharing that, but what I could probably start sharing is have a little snippet of what are some of those projects that we're potentially working on. And I've been trying to do that, like the security is one that we started working on about a year ago, trying to look at some improved security for the campus. So, I guess the answer is yes, I can start sharing a little bit of that information.
I could possibly have some input to that at some point.
Awesome, I'm always appreciative for input.
My last comment, all of your admonitions to the contrary, the stop signs are not being observed,
Mm.
particularly by
That's right.
golf carts and the sedans.
Okay.
I see it frequently because I'm at the intersection.
Yep,
Right by the Livingston Gate,
okay,
and they sail around that corner like that sign isn't even there.
not even there.
That's right.
I don't know what you can do about it, but maybe put a stop sign in the middle of the street.
Well, there's the piece that we have not done that we could do are speed bumps. I hear you. That's what I do. That's what happens to my face when I think about speed bumps.
Then you get in trouble with the fire.
I will tell you though, that a speed bump, it slows people down. I've been into communities, I'm sure you have too, and if you have a long drive from, some of the larger communities in the area have these long drives, right? You come in the front gate and you gotta drive like a mile to wherever you're going. The speed bumps do control it, but I'm not sure I have a good answer for you. Let me see what we can do, but I'm a little disappointed to hear that it's, kind of self-inflicted, the way you've described it to me. But let's see if we can't circle back with some of our team. Thank you.
What about the speed bumps?
You gotta use the microphone, Hilly.
Yeah, okay.
As close as you can get it.
Okay,
There you go.
okay. It's not the speed bump, it's also the staff itself does not pay attention to.
Well, that's what Mr. Barry was saying. So Mr. Barry's comment was, it's the shuttle drivers
I'm sitting right in it.
and the sedan drivers, right?
And I'm sitting right in it when they're speeding right along. Anyway, I'm not on this, I'm on another question.
Okay.
The roofs,
Mhm.
the roofs are so black
Mhm.
and dark. When are you going to do something about it?
So,
You're not ignoring them, are you?
no, not at all.
It's been quite a while.
Yep.
Since they've been cleaned.
Yeah, they were cleaned, actually, I think they were cleaned about 5 years ago.
See there?
No, they were.
Yeah,
They
but-
were, because I've been here 4 years,
Yes,
and they were done just before I started.
and I think they need to be done, they look terrible.
Correct.
They
So the-
look
so the-
filthy,
so the
filthy.
challenge-
Filthy is the word.
Understood. The challenge with the roofs is we're right at that window where there's replacement being looked at. Okay, so right now, they're looking at a replacement of the roofs because they do.
No.
Know what? What's the no, why do you say no?
No, I didn't say no.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
It's okay.
It's just an expression.
It's okay. Let me finish first, okay? Let me finish first.
Okay,
So we are looking at replacement, right, versus the cleaning. So one of the things you need to understand with the cleaning is cleaning involves what? Water, power cleaning,
Walking on the tile.
thank you, walking on the tile that's already at the end of its life. So right now, the powers to be who fund all of this, they're looking at that and they're gonna actually let us know what the final decision is. My belief is we're gonna hear probably sometime later this year about a project that's gonna come for a potential roof replacement. That's what I think is gonna happen. But again, I don't have a crystal ball, right? But that's my sense. The community was built, I think, they started the project in 2000, and I think most of the buildings were built in 2001. So if you play that out right now, we're 2024, they're 23 years old. Life expectancy probably 25 to maybe 30 years max, and that's stretching it. So we're probably at a time where we need to do some roof replacement. So more to come on that front. Mr. Post.
Mark, because I'm an ambassador, I seem to get lots of questions. This resident wanted to know if there is a process by which they can have a walk-in bathtub installed in their apartment.
The answer is no. The answer is no. We're not willing to assume that liability, so we're not. So walking back, and I'm sorry, I'm not an expert. Once again, I preface it by that. I know a lot of little things about a lot of different things, but I'm probably not an expert at one thing. So I will tell you this, that when we do have tubs that still exist in some of the apartments, that when we have an opportunity or to do something, we remove it and put a shower in. So from a security standpoint, that's better. We're a rental community, right? So the longevity of our residents from a rental perspective is shorter term. So the ownership has decided to not do that. So the answer would be no.
All right, thank you.
Yep,
Even at the person's own expense.
correct. Because we assume it after. So the thing you have to remember is that residents will do things to their apartments that we may say yes, but it belongs to the community, right? They're not gonna rip it out when they leave. So because of that, we have to assume that risk or that liability longer term.
I would think that the walk-in, the person that asked this is an older person, and I would think it would be safer than where they've got to step into a tub.
That's why we wanna get rid of tubs, period, and just have showers. Look at her face. No, don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. Mr. O'Rear.
Yes, we lost 4 waitresses recently.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we know why, or was there any, I miss Maddie,
So do we.
Sonia, Sophie.
So
Swab.
I can't really share any details relative to the staff. When that happens, it's confidential information. Yeah, we're a little disappointed. I will share with you that what I can share with you is the environment and I've actually said this before, but the environment that we create here at the community is very important so that everyone who lives here and works here feels comfortable here. And I know it's not perfect, and I know sometimes we do things and make decisions where residents and staff members say, why'd you do that, and why are you doing this? But trust me that at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do here. And sometimes with our staff, that goes awry. I can tell you that it's not related to how we manage them. Sometimes it's related to the experience in the environment that they're in. So what I would share with all the residents today is just keep that in the back of your mind. And it doesn't mean that residents need to not share bad experiences with us. They do need to share those bad experiences. However, they need to be aware that our staff members, we're gonna keep them if we create a good environment for them to work in. And if we create an environment that's not, they're gonna leave us. They will leave us, believe me. And I'm gonna speak a little bit close to the heart because I have one of my children who works here. And he's not a big speaker. He's a man of few words is kind of what I call him. But I will share with you that he continues to work here at the community because he likes to work here at the community, because he enjoys the environment and he enjoys the interactions with the residents. If one day he no longer does, he'll probably go somewhere else. So I just use that as an example to kind of help us all navigate that. I know we all kind of get caught up in what's going on in our world, but and then back to your real question was, we're gonna see some change right now because we have a lot of students that work for us in the culinary department, and it's that time of year where we're getting to the end of the school year. What's happening is they're gonna start changing schools, graduating, maybe going off to college, doing some other stuff. My son is leaving in the fall. He's gonna be going to college, so he won't be in the Naples area. That's just part of life. right? That has nothing to do with working here at the community. So we're gonna see a little bit of that transition too. Carol?
Now you be done about the woodpeckers.
Oh, no, not the woodpeckers.
I watched one woodpecker the other day. Make a hole, leave it in, he comes out and he's pissed styrofoam all over the grass. He's building a house in there.
They're stalking Mark. The woodpeckers are stalking
Well,
Mark.
they're stalking my apartment too, driving me crazy.
So Carol's talking about the woodpeckers. I know, I'm sorry. I literally thought we had kind of this, so we had an issue a couple years ago with woodpeckers. Does anybody remember the woodpeckers? We had a ton of them. Like, so we basically were able, so what they do, the woodpeckers, if you haven't seen them, is they go on the buildings.
Yep.
And it's called, I never remember the name, the product that they use to kind of do the contours on the buildings.
Styrofoam.
It's like a styrofoam product. It's called ephes or something, there's some funky term. Anyway, they whack on that thing and they break it, they create a hole, and in certain cases, they can get in the building. So I'm gonna share with you, yes, that's happened here in your building. We're addressing it. We were actually dealing with that today, to try to fix it. Believe it or not, I'm gonna share one thing with you. People just laugh at me when I say this, but they are protected. Okay? So what does that mean?
That means
If they get in and they nest, you can't pull them out of there. So you can't go in and say, Mr. Woodpecker, get out of there. You gotta let the thing fly out and then the little whatever to hatch, and it's gonna take a little bit of time. We do have a system where we can kind of make them not like it here so that they leave. So we're working on that right now. Go ahead, Carol.
First of all, it applies to all birds who nest.
There you go.
I mean, once they nest, you can't get them
Right.
out, because I had doves in my home.
Did you?
Yeah, oh, I did.
Ugh.
And they made a mess.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do a thing about it.
So we're on it. It's gonna take a little bit of time to get rid of Woody. Woody the woodpecker.
But I sit out on my porch a lot, and I find that when I stand up and I clap my hands loudly,
Do they leave?
they leave.
Oh, there you
So
go.
Mark, go stand outside building seven.
Fair enough. It's amazing the wildlife that you'll see. Bats are another one. I have a whole story about bats. Mr. Oslus. Please, everybody? No, it's on.
To your mouth.
It's on.
Since we're looking forward to 4 or 5 weeks of fun with the elevators, there's a lot of people that.
What do you mean 4 or 5 weeks? I said 3 to 4 weeks. I'm sorry.
Maybe they won't get a part from China.
Go ahead.
But there are people that can't spend 3 weeks in their room continually. They can't move. Transportation-wise, it almost has to be carried down. Is a corporate gonna subsidize somebody that moves out for a week?
Right now, I can't answer that question.
Because if you're gonna raise us up another $100, and then we can't stay here,
I get it.
there should be some kind of a thing.
I hear you. I hear you. If I had an answer, I would give it to you.
Well, you're our representative of
Yep.
corporate.
I'll eventually have an answer as the project draws closer.
He is going to corporate.
Right now, I do not have an answer for it. That's why I'm trying to be a little more proactive with this, to try to share with residents, if there is an alternative solution, please start to research that now.
Right to Motel 6.
All right, any more questions? Thank you, I appreciate the interaction, this is really good, and, Mr. Berry, duly noted, I'll try to share more projects down the road. Thank you. All right, thank you, everybody.